All right, it is episode 5 of Junk Traders here at Unity Gaming Group. My name is Rio. Today we're going to be doing some more rep and credit farming. Oh my. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and do a brief run through of my hangar now that I'm back in Jameson, I believe. I think that's where I ended up. Yep, Jameson's pretty sure. So once you get enough rep and you hit elite status, you have to hit elite status to be able to have access to Jameson Memorial, which is where we're at. But as a matter of fact, right here, see, Jameson Memorial. But yeah, you can get in here and then you get like discounts on the ships and things like. I think mine was like 10%. I don't remember for sure, but I'll try to keep my head pointed towards the mic. But yeah, don't quote me on that because I'm not very good at staying orientated because I'm always looking at two screens. So let me see here. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, so we're going to come in here. This is the Mandalay. This is the one I've been using for rep. I was using the Corsair. The Corsair is nice, but it doesn't have the jump range that the Mandalay does. The Mandalay has the best jump range in the game. It's a medium ship. It gets on medium, small pads. You know, I mean, it's decent. It's good to have. I'm at 517 million credits. Basically, what I'm doing now, because I already have a mining ship, this is all going to go towards our squadron. So I like to keep about 200 million in reserve just in case. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. Go here. Let me get my fingers orientated here. Still kind of under the weather a little bit. All right, so I'm 9% into warrant officer rank for the federal or the Federation. So, I mean, I have some work to do on that. So, it's really a matter of balancing the two right now because we want to get to the point where we have enough money to buy our Corvette and to outfit it, but we also want to have the rank. So you kind of have to decide from there what you want to do. Like for me, for this particular send-off, I think what I'm going to do is I'll go over to, I think it's called Perrin's Folly or something, and then I'll start the rotation between courier missions to try to get more rank. But you also want to, you know, like I said, you want to keep in mind that we do have to save up credits because we need it for our carriers and for potential more ships and things like that for the Corvette and whatever. So I think today I'm just going to do more federal rank, and if we have time and if it's not too late, because I'm going to be streaming and, you know, we have life going on around us here at the studio today. So, you know, the wife could come by, the dog might have to go out, you know, things like that, you know, normal everyday life. Being a disabled person and retired, really all I have is time, so I can do this and do it a lot, and I tend to. We also stream for a lot of different titles. I stream for Police Simulator, The Front, Enshrouded, Armor Reforger now, and just a bunch of different games. I mean, literally, we were doing ARC. I had an ARC cluster, the ARC Survival Ascended cluster, but I've gotten to the point now where Wildcard has really kind of just turned me off to the whole idea. And it started with the Power Rangers that they added as a optional DLC you could buy and skins you could put on, and then they added in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I'm still annoyed about. I mean, here's the thing with ARC is that I liked the original game, right? But I also recognized way back then in ARC Survival Evolved, when we had our cluster for that it was a very linear story, right? So you started off on the island, you survive the island, you do all the trials and tribulations that you need to do. You ascend, you go to the next one, you go to Aberration or Scorched Earth, and you do all that again and over, and you do the boss fights, you tame animals and dinos, and then, at the end of it, you get to Errant Prime, which is the Lost Colony, which is the one that we're supposedly getting in December, which I'm probably not going to pick up. I might pick it up at some point, but not for a long time. I'm going to wait until all of the maps they promised are actually given to us, and then I'll look at it and I'll make a decision on if we're going to actually reopen our cluster or not. But I'd like to have the entirety of what needs to be there first. I'm tired of the constant patching. I'm tired of the, sometimes twice a day. As a server owner without a game server manager that's viable, you don't get auto detected, updates like, oh, well, they just pushed out a patch on Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't get that auto detection and then updating. You don't get certain things that would be very helpful. I'd like to automate my systems. I like to automate my ARC so that I don't have to constantly babysit the servers. I have it set up right now to where I have a script that runs that detects the detections and it sends me a message, but that's still annoying because it won't actually update. I mean, I need to write something or do something about it, but it's a big pain in the butt for a game that I'm not particularly fond of right now. I don't like the direction they went with Lost Colony. I don't like this idea of evil vampires and just weird stuff that had never existed in the ways of dinosaurs. The Ocedon and all that, and the Ember Claw. I mean, the Ember Claw is pretty, but it doesn't really go. I mean, it's not what I signed up for. I signed up for a remaster of the original game, not all this crazy stuff that they're putting out. So I'm just not real happy with it. And it's a lot of work. I mean, running servers is a lot of work. And unless you're getting, some sort of financial kickback from it, it just becomes a very tedious and boring task. And it's just a lot of just pushing and pushing and pushing and fixing and fixing and fixing and updating and updating and updating. It gets so overwhelming, and I just get so tired thinking about it. So that's why we're not really doing ARC too much. But we run a lot of different things on the stream. Getting back to that. I try to read the comments when I can. I don't always respond, although I might be giggling or smiling or nodding or agreeing with you. If I don't think I didn't read them. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the thank yous that I've gotten over the years, about tutorials and previews of games and things. So, I'll try to be a little bit more proactive on that. I usually like to live stream, but I've stopped doing that until I get the new system. Once I get a new PC, something that can handle live streaming a little better and has better quality for the streaming, then I'll talk about it, and maybe we'll start live streaming again. But for now, this seems to be working fine. I like the fact that YouTube will let me upload videos to it, and you can just watch the videos. I try to keep my language down, but it slips. I mean, you're talking about a guy that grew up with bikers, was a part of that, several different packs for a long time. I was in the military. I was a truck driver. I was around some pretty rough and rugged people my whole life, so it might slip out once in a while, and I do apologize if it's offensive. Not meaning to be. I'm very blunt. I try to stay eloquent when I can, but I'm not always that eloquent. So, a little about me. I'm over 50. I'm married, very happily. I have a dog. Name's Kyrie. And a lovely wife named Stars. Well, that's her handle. We're both gamers. We both have been gaming since before the dawn of time, practically. Started on text-based stuff, moved into 8-bit graphics, like Pong and stuff before Atari was ever a thing, and then into Atari, and then Commodore, and then PC, and then the first consoles came out, the real consoles. I don't consider Coleco, even though we had one, or Tandy to be really a console, or Interact, which is one of the ones I first started on, which was a tape drive. You used regular, cassette tapes. I guess the first console for me would have been the Atari, and then the 2400, and then probably the Nintendo, the first Nintendo. But I stopped doing consoles a long time ago because I just am not very good using a controller. I'm a keyboard and mouse guy. So that's pretty much where we're at now. Is that, I mean, I have a controller on my desk. I got this really nice one. As a matter of fact, it's a modular controller that has both the analog and USB. It's called a Wolverine gaming controller. And it's nice. It says Razer on the top of it. It's got the Xbox insignia. It's a nice controller. But short of maybe Madden or Undisputed, I really don't use the controller that often. I tried to use it for WWE. I think it was 22 or 20. I don't know, one of the two. And my coordination with the controller is terrible. So, but anyways, so we're going to get started on this, and I apologize now if you get bored, because it's really kind of a boring shuffle of missions, but it's a necessary one, and you're going to do this yourselves if you ever play Elite Dangerous. You'll start out with this little Sidewinder, and then you'll move up into these other ships. But let's go ahead and just give you a brief look at my hangar at the moment. All right, so let me unlock this camera and get this untangled here. The mouse is tangled on something. All right, we'll come over here to Starport Services. I'll show you what's in my hangar real quick. And again, we're at Jameson Memorial, which is the big hub. That's the one you want to get to. We base out of Jameson right now. Now, eventually, we're going to get to colonization and find a sector that we can take over. It's like 25 million credits, and then you can set up and claim that as your sector, which is kind of cool. So, but that's the plan. Get a sector, start an orbital base. But first, we're going to go with the squadron carrier, because we do have a squadron. All right, so here's the shipyard, and these are my ships. The Mandalay is the one you're going to want to get as soon as you can. This one is very handy for courier missions, especially if you have to do rep grind. The Federation and the Imperial rep grinds are a pain in the butt. They're extremely boring, and you're going to get to see that. There's a lot of times I'll just be sitting there dozing and listening for an interdiction while I'm flying from place to place. This is the Prospector. I just got this yesterday or the day before. I got the regular one because at this point, there's a gap in between when you buy your ARX, and when what you can get. Like if I got the highest one, then I would have way too much extra, and if I got the lower one, then I wouldn't have enough to get both of them at tier 2. So I ended up doing it this way and just getting the tier 1. So, and this can be upgraded and engineered and all that. So that's the Prospector. This is my favorite one, even though I haven't really done much with it yet. The Caspian Explorer, it's got about a 40 light year jump range on it. It's about the same as the Mandalay, but it's a large ship. I just think it's fantastic. I mean, it's really cool. It's very Star Trek-y, and I love that. I mean, I really do. I wish we could have walked around in this, though. That's my only complaint, is that it's cool enough to where you'd think you were like in the Enterprise. I want to go down to the holodeck, and I want to go down to the mess hall and the crew barracks and, the captain's quarters. And I want to do that because, that'd be fun. Go to engineering. You could have missions where if you get, in trouble and you get attacked, you could have somebody run down to engineering and start doing repairs to the ship while you're trying to maneuver away and get away. I just think it would have been fun to have that kind of a crew experience. But it is just a beautiful ship. It's badass. I like it. So this is my Beluga. This is basically my my homage to Norwegian Cruise Lines, because we really love that cruise line. We do go every couple of years. This is the Junk Trader Bliss, and it's pretty cool. I would have loved to have seen it look more like a cruise ship. I mean, this does kind of look like it, but I don't know. I would have liked to be able to go in there. Could you imagine if they had made it to where you could walk around, maybe go to the different bars and restaurants in there, and like a cruise ship, and see all the rides and all the little gimmicky things in the stores. That, I think that would have been amazing. But it is what it is. At least be able to see like the luxury cabins and what those look like versus the economy and the business and the first class. But yeah, pretty cool. This is my main cargo hauler. It's a Panther Clipper. It's the Mark II. This is absolutely paramount when you start trying to make a lot of money. When you're trying to make a lot of money, this thing, if you run commodities, like go to anara.cz and just check out the trade routes, find one that pays well. And personally, I don't like the two-way. I like the one-way trips. I would much rather pick something up, drop it off, go back to the first one, pick it up, drop it off. It just seems faster to me than going, because then you're fiddling around with menus, right? If you have to pick up from the place you just dropped off at to take back, so you're fiddling around with menus and doing things, and it takes too long. I like the idea of just grab it, pick it up, drop it off, and then go back and pick up and drop off. So I use it that way. I will on occasion take the two-way trips, but if you look at Anara and you plot out a trade route, you just punch in the system that you're in, set up the parameters like how many light years away from you where you go. Like I usually choose within 10, 20 light years. I like to choose the highest level of supply and demand. I like to make sure the light seconds, the LS, is low, so within 1,000. But I think that's pretty much it for ships, other than I think there's this one right here. Yeah, there's the Imperial Cutter. This is my combat ship, right? So this is a combat ship. It's a beast. This one can go out and clear out a section, no problem. But it isn't the end-all, be-all. The best combat ship in the game, according to my buddy Walker, is the Federal Corvette. It's got more hard points on it and things like that. So that's what we're working on now. I'm not usually one to care too much about it. As long as it's functional and it does what it needs to, I'm usually good. But I particularly dislike the rep grinds. I think they're very long and arduous. And yeah, they just drain your soul. They suck it right out of your face. So it's one of those things that we have to get it done. So we're trying to get it done expedited. Our squadron currently has a perk for Federation or for Federal Rep. So that's going to kind of help. But yeah, it's kind of misery. We'll see what's on the mission board here and go from there. Maybe we can get lucky and get a couple of federal transportation missions that don't involve getting shot. All right, so we have a total of 104 tons worth of cargo space. So it's not good to take this, and you also want to watch that 194. You figure if it's 194 light years and your ship only jumps a maximum of, like, say, 20, so you divide that by 20, right? And that's how many jumps it's going to take to get there. This one will do, I think, 40, something around there. So, I mean, I divide it by 40, and then you can kind of go from there as to if you want to take it or not. But you want to look at the delivery. All right, so let's take a look at it. All right, so it's 194 light years, so roughly, I don't know, so let's just say 5 jumps to it, because, 4 times 5 is 20, and so we're looking at 200 light years. All right, so about 5 jumps. But it's only 285 light seconds away from the star. That's good. All right, so you want stuff that's low like that. Now, one of the things you have to realize is the threat level 8 is going to throw you off. That does not necessarily mean you're even going to get interdicted, and even if you do, you can probably get away in a Mandalay if you've got good enough thrusters. So I wouldn't worry too much about threat as I would about time. Time is everything in this game. You want to, maximize your efficiency and get there as quickly as you can. Drop your stuff off and get out. So, but let's go ahead and come down here. No, we don't want to do any of those. There's nothing here. Okay. So those are all deliveries. A lot of these will say, hey, source this many parts and then bring them to this location. You don't want to take source it because that means you got to go out and you got to find these parts. And you might say, hey, I need you to source 100,000 units of tritium or something. And if it's not in the system, then you got to go to a different system to find it. And you never know. Then you have to find a cheap supplier of it because at the end of the day, if you're doing it for rep, you're not going to get paid a lot. You're going to spend a lot more than you're getting, you're getting for a reward. So you want to avoid that. But let's go ahead and plot our course here. We're going to go back to what they consider to be the rep grind planets or star systems or whatever. All right, so it's going to be, what's going on here? Try that again. All right. Go to our bookmarks. Go to here. All right, so Perry's Folly is where you want to start at. This is the one for the Federation rep that usually kicks off all of the data courier stuff and all that. So we're going to go there. Let's launch into space. And again, please excuse us if we get into a conversation. If the dog starts barking, because at this point, this is real life and gaming at the same time. So, and of course, excuse me for turning my head during the mic stuff because when I'm doing this, I'm usually kind of looking at my screen, which is to the left. And I don't always position myself in a way to where you can hear me. I'll try, though. I promise. All right. So we are now auto-launched. Where we want to go, though, is probably... Watch out for traffic. If you hit somebody while you're speeding through here and you're not clear of the station, you get fined, which sucks. And don't boost out of the mail slot when you're coming out of bases either. They don't like that. They get mad. It's the equivalent of you starting your car and then gunning it out of the garage into traffic. So, yeah.
Frameshift drive charging.
I might go ahead and just mute the mic until I need to say something.
4, 3, 2, 1, disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
All right, as you can see, we're coming in on Perry's Folly. This is pretty much the starting area for Federation Grind. This is usually where you can pick up some initial missions. And what you're going to want to do is once you get the initial missions picked up, then you're going to probably pick up even more and fill up your mission log. I think you can hold up 20 missions. And then you just kind of follow the route and just do what you can. I try to keep mine streamlined, right? So if I pick up, 5-6 missions here, I'll go to the closest locations first and just kind of keep looking down the list until I find the next one that's closest, until I've gotten to a point where either they're too far out of range or I've gotten to a point where I don't have any missions showing up at all. Then I just say, okay, well, then now I have to use the galaxy map and I have to hyperspace over to it. And then I go from there. So, but that's what we're doing now is we're going to come in here. We're going to pick up some missions because there's undoubtedly going to be at least, I'd say 4 or 5, usually more at this location. So you should be able to get in here, no problem. pick up your missions, and get started on your grind.
Lighting gear deployed. Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
All right, so if you were paying attention, basically what I did was I looked at all the missions, right? And I looked at the light seconds distances. I looked at the light year distances. I looked at make sure that they all had rep, and then I made a decision on what I was picking up from there. You don't typically want to do anything over 2,000 light seconds away from a star, so that 25,000, I was like, nah, not doing it. But anyways, we're off and running, and yeah, I will cut in here once in a while just to kind of comment, but I'm going to go ahead and mute the mic again until it's needed. So we're good to go.
Incoming mission critical message. Landing gear deployed.
Docking confirmed. Securing ship. A warning, Commander. Civil war is plaguing this system. You may want to be careful who you pledge your allegiance to. speed until outside the exclusion zone. All clear. Hope to see you again, Commander.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. successful. Engines disengaged. Landing gear retracted. Ship released. Engines engaged. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
entered. Access corridor is clear.
Frameshift drive charging.
You are clear to resume own navigation. Safe travels, Commander.
4, 3, 2, 1. Incoming mission critical message. Landing gear deployed.
The access corridor is designated. No stop
All right, so we are steadily moving along here. 24% reputation for the next rank. The next rank there, I think it's ensign, and then it goes to like lieutenant this and lieutenant that, and then it finally gets up there. So we're a long ways out from getting the rank we need. We need to be a rear admiral to get to the federal corvette unlock. But I'm going to do this, and then I'm probably going to switch over, and I'll start working on more credits, because credits make the world go round in Elite Dangerous, and quite frankly, 500 million does not feel very lucrative. Now, there's a very large community in Elite Dangerous, right? So there's the open play, which you play with other players. Then you've got the private sessions, like the one I'm in now is the Walker one. It's me and Walker in this one. I also have one that's mine that I own that he can get into. But one thing, if you're new to the game, doesn't matter what private session you go in, your stuff is still going to be your stuff. So keep that in mind. You don't have to worry about like, oh my god, I went to this guy's session and now I have nothing. It's not how it works. So don't let that put you off at all, I guess, is what I'm saying. Crap, I just missed it. Gotta watch out though, because I don't want to get stuck in that gravity well. Super cruise to it. There we go. Mallet base. But anyways, so yeah, when you're playing, you can do the open world, but just keep in mind that you're going to be dealing with players that might be pirates, PvPers, things like that. I tend to like to stay in the private because I just like to play the game. I don't really want to get too involved or sucked into a problem where some player just randomly comes up and blows up my ship, something like that. So I kind of stay out of it. When it comes to PvP, I like the first-person shooters, or I like, games that I actually have some tactical knowledge of, and I'm able to use a strategy rather than just run and gun. So, but that's another thing to think about. You can always go to your private session and not have to worry. If you go to the solo one, you're just going to be you. You're not going to see any other players. But if you got buddies that play too, you can all play on the same session. It's their server, right? So the only difference is that, you're going to basically only be able to see your friends that are in that server with you. So it's pretty nice. I actually enjoy that a lot. See, we're stuck in a weird intersecting gravity well type situation. Usually if you just rip it up and down, you'll start to gain some progress on getting closer. These weird, like, exclusion lines, I guess is what they're called. Because they intersect in a weird way, sometimes they just don't do what you expect. Like, I'm stuck right here. So we're going to go low, try to gain some distance on it. And then we'll try to dip in on it. Alright, 2. There we go. Alright, so we're going to come in here. We're going to keep doing this. I'll come back on when there's something to actually say. Other than that, I just want you to enjoy watching the game. If you get bored, it's fine. I know I get bored. So watching somebody else play is fun for a while, but when it's the same repetitive crap, yeah, that can get a little old. So I don't expect anybody to even made it this far, because if you're like me, you got the attention span of a 4-year-old, and it's like, oh my god. So, and unfortunately, that's the way it is with me. I'm like, I can't sit here and watch somebody else playing this, especially when they're just grinding rep. But point being, this is what we're doing today. Once I get closer to ensign rank, I'll probably turn around and focus on something like the credit grind, or I'll start looking to build credits up to outfit the mining ship, and maybe I'll give that a shot tonight. I don't know. It'll be in the next episode most likely, though, because I'm already doing an episode of Arma, and I did a episode here, and if I play anything else, I might do an episode of that. So, I do a lot of streaming, a lot of little YouTube videos and things. I try to keep them brief, but sometimes it's just not possible, especially in Elite Dangerous, because nothing is fast, nothing is efficient. So you're going to end up seeing a lot of boring gameplay. The thing is all this boredom that we're going through right now is to get to a point where we have what we need to do other things. Now, there are a lot of aspects. The biggest thing that you're going to have to accept right off the bat with Elite Dangerous is that 90% of everything you do is going to be in a cockpit of a ship. You can do ground missions, and you can land on the surface of planets. You can run around collecting samples and then sell it to different vendors in the orbital stations. But most of the time, you're in space flying. And if that's too boring for you, then this is not the game for you. I mean, that's just the skinny of it. Now you're going to have to deal with that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end this here because I just can't see having you guys sit around watching this for another 2 hours while I try to get to Ensign. But that's the progress that we're making. That's the direction we're heading in. And hopefully by the end of, by tonight sometime, I'll have my Ensign rank and I'll be working on credits. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. And have a great day.